The whole crypto market is bleeding right now, but on top of that, I have some special concerns for the whole play to earn market in general. So here today's video, I'm here to spread a little, what I think is healthy FUD. So let's talk about it. Hello, Kamusta Hola, my name is Luke here on Luke Plays to Earn. Welcome to this video. I hope you guys are doing well. My whole goal and vision is to help the small investors here, the little krills as we call them, to help survive in the play to earn whale world. And today we're talking about the bear market or potential bear market we're seeing. It doesn't take a huge genius in technical analysis to see that we are in the red for the last month or so across the board for tons and tons of tokens, and a lot of people are calling for a bear market here in the crypto space. Of course, calling anything in the crypto space is a total crapshoot. It's so volatile that anything could happen. Who knows? We could flip this around and head towards another bull run. We don't know for sure. So on top of just being in a downwards market for the last month and a half, I do have some other concerns I want to talk about in the play to earn market in general, because a bear market or a potential bear market for crypto will affect everything. You know, the crypto market, it'll affect play to earn tokens, governance tokens in our games, and NFT prices. And if you've been around in crypto long enough, a lot of people have been in this space longer than I have. I've been in here just under a year, and a lot of people that have been here for a while, listen to their wisdom. They'll say things like, hey, I've been in this space for years. The last time we hit a crypto winter, I lost 90% of my funds across the board. Or they'll say things like, hey, there is projects that I was into, and 95% of these projects 5 years ago disappeared and they did not make it through the crypto winter. Even for myself, I lost a good chunk of my funds back here in this crash that we saw in April and May, and some of my first experiences in crypto was seeing my funds lose about 50% of all of its value. Now, you might be someone in this space that is just here for the gaming side of it, and that is cool. Maybe you're not into the crypto side of things, but even then, as you know, or hopefully know, that NFT prices are often also tied to the crypto space in general. Usually what happens with Bitcoin and ETH really controls what happens in crypto in general, and what happens to our gaming tokens when they go down. Usually the price of our NFTs are going to go down as well. Now for me on my channel, I play a lot of Splinterlands, and there's multiple factors of what's going on in Splinterlands. They also just released a new supply of a bunch of cards. But even then, some of these cards that were here at the bottom used to be upwards of 30 cents. Some of them have, fallen all the way to 4 cents. You can look at some of these legendary cards, these summoners that used to be, upwards of $1,000 have fallen back down as well. So you can see because of DEC price falling, we're earning less in this game. And so people are a little bit more hesitant to buy up these cards because the earnings are less. I've also been thinking about this game called Crabata, which I covered on the hottest NFT games of last week in January. And I don't really know about this game. I'm not trying to say it's a bad game. This is not the point of this. What I'm trying to reference in this for Crabata, I was looking over this game and I was thinking, okay, if you need 3 crabs to invest in this game, you're talking about $6,000 worth of crabs to start playing and earning. Now, a few people, when I posted this video, someone said, hey, well, I'm making $100 right now in this game. This game is crazy. It's going to the moon. And it might. Again, I don't know hardly anything about this game. But let's say you're investing $6,000 into it and you're making $100 a day from this TUS token. Well, that actually kind of makes sense because you're getting an ROI that you're going to get your money back within 60 days, 2 months of just sitting there and having them earn this token. And we can see that this token, the TUS token, has run up like crazy in the last month, going from all the way down here at 4 cents a token all the way at hitting a peak around 15 to 16. So a 4x on this token in the last month. Now that's all great and dandy, but what if we keep hitting a crypto bear market, a winter as some people have called it, and all of a sudden this token loses 90% of its value? And instead of people making $100 a day in these NFTs, let's say you spent $6,000 and now you're only making $10 a day because the token has fallen back down. You are now talking about a 600-day ROI. We're talking about 2 years to get your money back if it stays at $10 a day. What happens if a project completely collapses? Again, just so some of you guys know, I'm not talking about Crabata in general. I'm just trying to use this as an example for any project. There are hundreds of gaming projects just like this that are requiring thousands of dollars to invest with a promising ROI, but will that last forever is the question. And you might counter and say, well, if you're making only $10 a day, you could still resell your crabs and maybe get some of your money back plus the ROI you have already achieved. But I can tell you right now that if the crypto market goes down, I would assume that these crabs cannot still remain at $2,000 a piece. It's one thing if they're generating $100 a day, but if they're generating $10 or less, I don't see how people are going to be justifying spending $6,000 to get into this game or many games that are like it. Now that brings me to my next point. I think a lot of the problems with the play to earn market right now is that we're seeing a lot of people who got crypto rich from this bull run, who started off as a gamer as well, and now they are taking a lot of their crypto rich funds, putting it into different tokens, putting it into different projects. Now they have enough money to get whitelisted, get into launch pads for these games. And so they're getting into the ground floors of these games, putting in $1,000. And then all of a sudden, as soon as the project releases, they're able to flip it around and get, $10,000, $20,000. You can see this on YouTube. I've seen plenty of videos. I can't find them right now, but people are like, oh, I made $17,000 right away. Oh, on this game, I made $28,000 from flipping this project. And I just don't think that that is sustainable. I think it's, a few of these crypto rich people. I don't know how many. Is it 10,000? Is it 100,000 of these people? But my guess is that it's a lot of the same people going in and out of different projects, flipping them from already being crypto rich. And you can see even on YouTube, there's a lot of people that are just making these posts about, hey, you can earn $1,000 a game, $100 a day, $250 a day. Get into this project. Look what I have done. Because they have already established a huge portfolio, they're able to get into these games so early that they're making a ton of money. The big problem with this, if this theory is correct, if it's just a lot of the same people bouncing from project to project, flipping a bunch of stuff, having enough funds to get into the next project, well, eventually, if you're not bringing in new people into the space and the market starts going down, there is just too many projects out there. You can even see on playtoearn.net alone, there's a list of now over 822 games with more projects coming out each day. If there's more and more projects coming out and not more people coming in, then eventually there's all these projects that are not going to have enough new people coming in. There's more projects, there's more supply than there actually is demand in this space. And so eventually I think we're going to start seeing people who are so used to flipping these games, making thousands of dollars, eventually they're going to hit a project, maybe 2 or 3, where instead of flipping and making a bunch of money, they could potentially now put in a couple grand into this project and maybe it blows up, maybe something goes wrong and they're left with $500 or $100 or maybe even nothing coming out of their investment. If a bear market comes and some of these bigger play to earn game whales start taking $1,000 hits here and there, maybe they get a little more hesitant and even they start to pull out some of their money from these play to earn projects. The other problem that leads to is that all these whales getting into these projects early and flipping these NFTs makes the prices go up and newer players get shoved out of these projects. Take an example, Second Life, again, one of those hot games on my video from last week. Already the B&B is on these, meta space apartments have gone up by 1 or 1.5 B&B. But you're talking about almost, $2,000 to just get into this metaverse that honestly doesn't look that amazing to me, at least where it is at in this development. So none of these newer players are going to be able to afford anything like this, pushing them out into different projects like we have seen with Sunflower Farmer. So again, Sunflower Farmer, if you didn't hear about it, was just a project that exploded out of the gate because it was so easy to get into. You just had to pay like 0.1 Matic to get into some charity. And then you could play the game and essentially earn for free if you just work your farm hard enough. And because all these people, whether they just didn't have enough to invest or they're from a third world country or they're like me and they're a little conservative with their funds, they got into this game because we can get in this game for so cheap, make a killing in it, flip it around. And then eventually, once the Matic fees got too high, once the game had run into some problems, we saw this token go from almost 550 and drop all the way down into, the abyss of 20 to 30 cents. And now they've taken this game off for maintenance mode. But I think a lot of this is because all these newer players can't get into $1,000 projects, and then something like Sunflower Farmer comes along that's a free to earn game, essentially will explode out of the gate as people make money, they pass it on to other people, it explodes on YouTube until eventually there's a crash when it stops earning what other people were earning. So I really feel like the NFT play to earn space is kind of in a conundrum. It's caught in a pickle, if you will, as we say in America, where people and projects are making a small amount of NFTs because they want them to hold value, and there's not enough players right now to make tons and tons of NFTs. But then at the same time, then there's not enough NFTs for newer players to get into the game, driving the prices up. So we're kind of in a catch-22 where as a project, do you make a bunch of NFTs to allow more newer players potentially to get in, or do you make a small amount driving your prices up, but then new players are, left sitting on the sidelines unless there's an amazing scholarship or play to rent, essentially, system that can make it profitable. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with Star Atlas over the next couple of years, but the one thing I do like is that at least they have a ton of supply at low levels for players that can get in for $20. That's reasonable. You can buy up a game for $20, $40, or $60 on PlayStation, Xbox, anything like that. That's what I say all the time. So the fact that they have an actual reasonable NFT for $20 with a supply of 130,000, again, I don't know if I'm bullish on Star Atlas or what's going to happen with it, but at least they are a project that is thinking at least a little bit bigger than just saying, hey, we're going to have 1,000 NFTs and they're all going to cost thousands of dollars a piece. Having opportunities like that may actually get new players into this space because it's at a reasonable price. Right now, looking at the numbers, you could really make an argument that we are stalling out and getting new players in the play to earn space. And again, as I said before, I think it's a lot of the same people jumping from project to project. Look at Axie Infinity as one example. You can see in June when play to earn gaming started really taking off, they went from just a couple thousand users. In just a few months, went almost up to 100,000 users. And then now they hit 100,000 users in November. Since the market started to go back down, we've seen it dwindle and still hover around that 90 to 100,000 users. Same track with Splinterlands. Before that June sort of pickup of play to earn games, they were just at a few thousand users. You can see in September they spiked like crazy. October, November, 400,000 users. But then again, in the last months, we've either gone down or stayed sideways somewhere in that 250 to 350,000 users range. Again, Alien Worlds, another example, same thing, May, June, spiking 200,000 users. And then again, just kind of going sideways and down, although Alien Worlds, to me is just I don't even call it a game. Maybe they've added stuff. When I played during the spike, it was incredibly boring because all you were doing was clicking mine and then coming back to it. But again, just an example, as users in the last couple of months seem to be going down or sideways for most of these games. Of course, there are some games, if you look at the DAP radar, in the green over the last month. But again, how many of these games are actually new players and not just people who are like, oh, I'm bored of Splinterlands, I'm not earning that much anymore. Or actually, it's really kind of going downhill. Or Alien World's kind of boring. Let me jump into Upland. Let me jump into Sunflower Farmers. Let me jump into DeFi Kingdom. How many of these are actually new people coming into this ecosystem? I'm guessing not a ton. And really one of the biggest things I think it boils down to for why we're not getting new players is a lack of education of getting people into crypto, getting them into play to earn, and getting them to think with an investment mindset. Realize how hard is it for someone to get into a video game that is also a finance world and investment. If I tell a friend and I actually convince them to get into whatever play to earn game, Axie Infinity, Splinterlands, doesn't matter what it is, and I say, hey, you're gonna put $200 into this game, but realize this $200 may one day become $1,000, or maybe one day it becomes $50. Again, if you think about it like a video game budget, like I say, hey, put $60 in at a time like I would with PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, any of these other games, and I'm okay with losing that money. I have come to those grips though after months of being in this space and seeing my portfolio go up and down. For a new person, even if I try to explain this and say, hey, just think of it as your video game budget. If it goes to zero, it's fine. You had fun. And if you make some money and you come and walk away with $1,000, great, we can celebrate then. But for my friend to actually go through that emotional roller coaster is a completely different thing. If they've never invested in their life before and they put $200 into a game and they see it go up to $250 to $300 that next month as they grind out rewards, they're going to be cheering, they're going to be celebrating, they're like, oh my gosh, Luke, this is the greatest thing. And then a month or two later, again, as if the crypto market heads into more of a bear market, they see their $300 portfolio now in this game drop all the way to $100 or to $50. They're going to be sick to their stomach. They're going to be anxious. Even though I told them that they could lose it all, they're still going to have this feeling of like, oh, that sucks. I could have sold at $300. I could have made a profit. Now this game sucks. I'm just feeling bad about it. I can't believe I lost my money. And they're probably going to pull their money out and lose interest completely. To convince people to actually get into play to earn games, we not have to only explain crypto, but we have to explain and get them into an investor mindset. And that is going to take some work. Not only that, but we're going to have to explain and help them understand in the play to earn world, when your coin of a game is high, like DEC was a couple months ago, you might be earning $5 a day in this crypto. But then once it starts going all the way back down, you might be earning 10 to 20 cents a day. And for them not to get discouraged in that and to keep playing and grinding so that next time we hit a bull run, they'll be in a good spot with some actual decent earnings, that's hard to explain to a friend. That's hard for me as a person that it focuses on small investors to tell them to keep grinding. That is a hard thing to understand. Even for me personally, when I was at a couple of months ago making, a couple dollars per day in this game, I was like, yeah, this is incredible. And even for me, I'm like, oh man, now I'm earning a couple hundred DEC a day, and really that's worth like 50 cents at most. And so even for me, that is a difficult thing to get into that mindset of, oh, I'm playing not for right now, but I'm playing for what happens with this game potentially 2, 3, 4 years down the road. Again, education for that is difficult. Now, the other educational piece that I think is difficult is the crypto part of it. I could tell a friend or someone that knows nothing about crypto, there are a few games out there that right now you can just start playing and you don't even need to know about crypto. You can go download Gods Unchained, and if that person, my friend, was playing Hearthstone, they'll understand it right away. They'll know how to use those basic starter decks, those cards, build up decks and start winning, and it'll make lots of sense to them. But then I try to tell them, hey, if you want to buy up some more cards and pick out individual cards to add to your deck, you can't just use fiat. You're going to have to install a MetaMask wallet, get some Gods token, and then go to this marketplace and buy it up so it can go into your blockchain wallet. They're going to be like, huh, what? Like, I don't understand this. This is crazy. Luke, what are you talking about? I'm going to have to really educate them on the crypto part if they want to start their collection. Or another game I think of is Thetan Arena. I could tell my friends who love League of Legends, love Valorant, all these things, jump into this game, download it, and they can start playing this game. No problem. They'll probably love this MOBA. It's a good game. But then when you start talking about the play to earn mechanics and you start talking about the different coins here and upgrading heroes, or that you can buy a box, you just got to get some THC on PancakeSwap or whatever exchange you want to use. Again, they're going to be like, what the heck are you talking about? Even for me, as someone that plays all these play to earn games, when I started playing Thetan Arena, there was nothing in game that I could really understand of what the heck is this, coin right here? What is this yellow coin? What does this green coin do? I don't understand. How do I earn these coins? Where do I get them if I want to get more? How do I buy some? The shop doesn't explain anything. It just comes here and says, hey, I can buy PowerPoint with these yellow ones. Or I could buy a hero with enough yellow ones if I rank up in the game. But there's no really explanation about blockchain. There's no explanation for me at all about where and what these coins do. Now, of course, you can come to their website and look at different things like the Thetan coin, the marketplace, and all of that. But again, as someone that is into this play to earn space, even I had a little difficult time figuring out. Imagine someone that knew nothing about crypto, nothing about smart contracts and MetaMask and PancakeSwap and all these things. They would be completely lost. Splinterlands does do an okay job at this. You can deposit fiat straight into your credits. You don't have to figure out all these different exchanges. If you want to use the Hive wallet, you can, and it's kind of easy to set up. They at least sort of walk you through it, and I know it's their goal and vision to help people more and more. So there's enough, maybe there, and you can argue on YouTube that will help these people walk through. But again, even Splinterlands, I think, doesn't do a good enough job yet. And again, it's one of those strategic card games that if you're not a lover of card games or strategy, there's a huge chunk of gamers that probably will never want to jump into this game. So even though there are games now being developed that I think can start competing with some of the modern day non-crypto games, at least at some level, I'm not saying we're there yet. I think we have some room to grow, but there's at least some good games like Gods Unchained, Splinterlands, Blanco's Block Party, Fate and Arena that normal gamers could at least enjoy. But I still think we have a long way to go in educating them about anything else besides, hey, just play this video game. Until we do that, I don't think we're going to grow this space enough to sustain some of these NFT prices that we're seeing in a lot of these games and projects. Now, there are some good signs for this space in general, like lots of people are buying more crypto and NFTs in general. But again, I still have this problem where I run into people, and more of these everyday average people that I would never have guessed in the crypto space are in the crypto space. But when I ask them, hey, what do you own? It's usually like, hey, I own some Bitcoin, or I own some Ethereum or Dogecoin or SHIB or whatever it is. And then I ask them, oh, well, what do you do with that crypto? A lot of them, they just say, oh, it's just, I bought it on Coinbase, I bought it on Robinhood, I bought it on Binance, one of these exchanges, and it just sits there. And then I'll ask them questions, oh, so you don't know how to transfer that or use a wallet? Or have you ever heard of taking that coin and staking it or putting in liquidity pools, putting it into DeFinance? And they just kind of give me this like, what? What are you talking about? I just have this crypto and it's sitting in exchange. What is all this extra stuff that you're talking about? Is that really necessary? So even though that there's more people in the crypto space in general, how many of them will actually know the ins and outs that you need to know for these play to earn games like wallets, like exchanges, liquidity pools, all these different things? Again, it makes me worried of how many players are actually in this space. If we looked at that DApp radar again over the last 30 days, even if you total up all those games, maybe we're sitting at a couple million. And then you think about how many of those players are actually just in each one of those games. And not only that, but how many of those players, as we've talked about in this space, are bots that are flooding these games trying to make a huge killing in these play to earn games. So if you take that into consideration, maybe we're at 1 million players or less, maybe somewhere in between 1 to 2 million players. I don't know. I mean, DApp Radar doesn't have it all across the board. They don't track every single game perfectly and correctly. But still, it kind of just gives you this question of like, how many people are actually in this space and how many people that are new are we actually bringing in this play to earn space? So to recap why I have some concerns for this space right now is the high entry in a lot of these games that just for new players, especially outside of crypto, people just, I don't think will get into. The lack of education for those who are gamers but don't know anything about crypto, the use of bots and how many of these users are playing these games are actually just bots right now, and that these games are just, some of them need to get better. Some of these are not good enough games where they're at right now to convince the average gamer to move into the space and to play these games that are both fun and have a chance to earn. Those are some of the major concerns I have for the play to earn space right now, even though long term I'm bullish and I really do believe in this play to earn. Adding NFTs to gaming I think makes a lot of sense long term, but for now I do have some concerns. And you might be looking at me and saying, Luke, why are you spreading all of this FUD, especially when you are a play to earn YouTuber yourself? And, a lot of people, FUD is kind of this really dirty word in the crypto space. A lot of people mean it, oh, you're just trying to spread misinformation so that prices go back down and that whales are manipulating the market with all this FUD so that they can accumulate more NFTs and crypto themselves. So yeah, there is a wrong kind of FUD, but I think there also is a healthy level of FUD, a little bit of skepticism in this space so that we are not overextending ourselves, so we're not risking way too much. We're not putting our life's savings into this space. I think we need to have at least a little bit of fear, a little bit of uncertainty, especially in the crypto space that's so volatile, and a little bit of doubt just for the short term. Long term, again, I am really excited about the space, but to have no FUD, to think that this is going to be bullish forever, I'm just seeing way too many YouTubers, I'm seeing way too much publications of why people are dumping in so much money, and it just brings a little fear to my heart because I am worried for you guys that some of you out there might be getting wrecked here in 2022. Again, predicting things in the crypto market and NFT space is almost impossible. But this is just a theory that I have and feel, and maybe there's a 60% chance that it happens. Maybe there's a 30% chance that it happens. And maybe, my other, 30% of me says, hey, this could, flip around and be bullish, or 10% of me says, hey, this maybe just kind of, we hit a range market for Bitcoin and Ethereum and things develop over time until we hit the next bull run and we're okay. But, there's at least some percentage of me, maybe 50, 60% says I'm remaining with some caution for right now. However, for a krill, for a small investor like me, and from possibly you, if you're watching this and you're not a whale, you're not a minnow, and you're a little baby krill, investing, like I say, $60 a month, taking your gaming budget, then actually a bigger correction in this market, we've already seen a huge correction. Even if there's a bigger one coming, I would feel really bad. I don't want that to happen because I know people will get wrecked, but it does eventually bring us the opportunity to buy into projects that we've been wanting. It either allows us to buy some NFTs or some of the tokens that we've been seeing go down. Illuvium down like crazy. Sandbox has dipped down. Cetify as well has gone completely down. There's still a few in the green here. Gods Unchained token going crazy down as well. Hive, Star Atlas, we have SPS going down like crazy as well. So even though I don't want a bigger correction, I hope for everyone's sake that has a bunch of money into these projects that this is starting to form a bottom. But if not, then for those of us who are small krills, this is going to be potentially, if we see more bear, the best opportunity we have to get into some of these games that we've been wanting to get into. Instead of being on the outside looking into these projects saying, oh, well, I don't have $2,000 to $6,000 to invest, maybe some of these games will pull back down to more a reasonable $200, $100, $50 to get into these games, and we'll have a chance to actually play the games we want to earn, and it'll be small, it will be low rewards for a long time, but then if it is a crypto winter and we have to wait a couple of years for the next bull run, we're going to be accumulating a lot of these assets, a lot of tokens that one day when we hit the bull run, maybe we've been putting $60 a month into these games, a couple hundred a year, and then all of a sudden, maybe if this crazy bull run, if we play our cards right, we hit, 20 grand or something crazy. I don't know what is possible. That would be incredible. And next time we're in a bull run, we're a minnow instead of this little baby krill. That is my goal. That is my vision for hopefully what's next in play to earn for us small investors. Now, what does this mean? What is my strategy? Well, I'm putting my money into games that I believe will last at least 3 to 5 years. If there is a big breakdown in crypto or a crash in the play to earn market, I want to be in games that I think will survive that, come back for the next bull run. I'm not going to tell you all those games, I think, because I want you to make your own decisions in that. But if you are chasing games, let's say like Sunflower Farmer here, I really don't judge anyone who is getting into a game to try to make a quick earning. And if you happen to get into this game and make for, a couple weeks before it crashed, well, what I would be doing with that is putting it into a stable coin. I would be flipping this Sunflower Farmer back into Matic or coins and blockchains that I think will survive a potential crypto winter. Or I would be putting it into other games that, again, I think will last 3 to 5 years. So if you're going to take those games that are a little bit risky, that have been pumping, and you want to try to earn a quick buck, again, that's totally fine. But what I would be doing personally is taking those profits and putting it into projects that I think are a little more stable and have a little more long-term potential. So again, this video is just a theory. It's just a feeling, a little thing that I think is saying, let's have some caution. Will this actually happen? I hope not. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe we're okay. And maybe we see a lot of the market recover. But I would love to hear, what is your theory? Do you agree with this theory? Do you have a counter theory? You're looking at this as like, hey, more people are coming into these games. We have Ubisoft now using NFTs. A lot of people are coming into the crypto space. Right now it's red, but we're just turning around for green. Maybe in the next couple months we'll hit another bull run. What is your theory? What is your thoughts about the market? And I would love to have this as a discussion, not me as the expert saying every single thing is going to come true that I said in this video. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying let's proceed with a little caution. Let's be a little bit smarter so that we don't get totally wrecked if that theory does come true. So I hope this was helpful. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Pa'alam. Adios.